Should Trump sit down for an interview with Mueller?
I have, once again, from the beginning, don't think that's necessary. I want to go back to the 44 questions. I mean, we kind of know, at least broadly, where that investigation is going, at least most of it. And, you know, Jay Sekulow, who in this case is our Lanny Davis, I think it was Jay that took the notes, or someone took the notes, and then it got out somehow. It was either leaked or got out about the 44 kind of verticals or lines of inquiry. I think it's all pretty straightforward stuff, but I don't think the president needs to sit for an interview. When I saw those questions, I thought those questions could be answered by in writing, if there's to be answered at all. I mean, that's for the president's lawyers and for the president's counsel to work with him all. But I didn't see anything in those lines of questioning that were going to be that problematic. I mean, some may be a little bit more than others. I thought it was fairly straightforward, and I think those things can be answered in writing. I would strongly advocate that unless it's absolutely necessary, the president should not sit down and be interviewed.
If I can get my 2 cents in. First of all, I completely agree with Steve Bannon. Rudy Giuliani is the best decision that could possibly have been made. He's given away the president's defenses. He waived attorney-client privilege. He lies all the time. He seems slightly manic. He's the best thing that we Democrats. Thank you, Donald Trump, for putting Rudy Giuliani out. Secondly, facts are stubborn things. Steve's absolutely right that there are 44 lines of questions. I wonder how that got non-leaked out by my various friends who got that story from only a couple of people in the room. But the truth is,
I can't believe you bring up leaks when the New York Times is literally the comms department. The New York Times is the comms department for the special prosecutor. I mean, anything that goes on in the special prosecutor's office is immediately, to their advantage, is immediately written up, or I should say typed up, in the New York Times, the paper of record, the following day. So you can't talk about leaks.
Well, we had a hard time with leaks.
This is part of the agreeable.
We had a hard time with leaks at the Clinton White House, too, so I'm sympathetic. But my point is that truth and facts are stubborn. No matter what Donald Trump or Steve does, or anybody else, the truth and the facts are going to prevail, and that's what Mr. Mueller has going for him.
By the way, I think
sooner or later, he will get the facts.
I think Mr. Mueller has gone through, look, it's been a year. And I'm just saying, just go back to the 44 questions, because that's kind of where we know, at least in some semi-official capacity, this is going. I think these are pretty thin reads. You know, if obstruction is the firing of Comey and something that happened on Air Force One, if that's your case, that's a pretty thin read to hold on. And I think the American people will weigh in and measure all this. And November 6th of this year in the midterm elections, I think they'll speak very loudly about what they think about this.
Are you in touch with Giuliani?
I don't want to talk about my contacts with the White House. I don't think it'd be fair.
Are you still?
But unlike Lanny, I'm a very big fan of Rudy's. He knows the president. He's a great lawyer. He's a terrific wartime consigliere. Some of the media hits are better than others, but I think he's.
I'm a fan of Giuliani staying on television speaking for Donald Trump. Please keep going.
Are you still advocating that Rod Rosenstein be fired?
I was an advocate that Rod Rosenstein, I thought they crossed the line with all the Michael Cohen situation when he signed off on that. And I think that his recalcitrance in really coming forward with this situation about either the informant or what type of surveillance was done by the FBI and other either intelligence agencies and or law enforcement agencies also should cause his. If he didn't follow a direct order, the president gave him a direct order to turn that material over, he should be fired. Now, look, I was part of the team with Senator Sessions that reviewed Rod Rosenstein and was a big advocate of him becoming Deputy Attorney General. But I think the track record's pretty clear, and so I was a strong advocate that Ty Cobb should be let go, and I was a strong advocate that Rod should be let go also.
By the way, as a student of history, if President Trump should dare to fire Rosenstein, Mueller, or even his own Attorney General, who he's demeaned many times publicly, he should go back in history and take a look at what happened when Richard Nixon engaged in the Saturday Night Massacre. Steve Bannon is the one person that warned Donald Trump not to fire James Comey. I think James Comey should have been fired, but by Barack Obama, because he violated every Justice Department rule there is when it came to handling the Hillary Clinton emails investigation. But at the time that Trump fired him, it was Steve Bannon who warned him, I think, that the consequences would be great.
And this gets back to the facts. Lanny says facts are hard things. I didn't think there were a lot of facts there, and I thought this thing would peter out in 90 days. I advocated that, hey, it's the C block on Anderson Cooper. You can't even get Lanny Davis back at that time revved up. You couldn't even get him revved up on it.
That must be a bad story.
And it would just, and nature would take its course, and we would have dealt with this thing, last year. And so I think it's been elongated, and now they're talking about potentially wrapping it up by the summer.